Hey guys, this is Dartamos with Dartamos Dominions. Gonna try to get a quick episode in. It's been a wild, long time. We've been, it just my sons have decided that my time to record has become their time to wake up randomly and start screaming wildly. So I've started to try to record a couple times and it just hasn't really pulled through. So apologize for the odd schedule. I'm just gonna release this one as soon as I get done with it, so you'll be seeing it probably, hopefully, in about 30 minutes if my kids don't come home at this point. So last we saw, we're in the middle of the war, and that's pretty much all I can remember. We're gonna go over. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna do my cloud trapeze this time. So we've empowered Jom or Dot in blood. He lost an arm, and so we needed to do this in order to get some more blood crafting going. I don't know if that's going to end up happening because as the war goes on, I like to throw pretty much everything I can into the war. Sometimes this comes back to bite me because I throw researchers into the war, but it happens. So let's see what happens with our cloud trapezer because I'm sure this is going to go very, very well. So against us is this dude right here, Rock Whisperer, which is awesome name by the way, and he's got some anti-infantry gear, and just the dancing shield allows him to repel more easily. Water breathing's gonna let him raid my territory, so if I don't do this, I can probably expect to lose a lot of my water stuff pretty soon. And then just extra attack, AoE attack, and then that cuts down on the number of guys attacking him. So pretty much more thinking for chaff rather than this big guy. So our setup is pretty much thug thug kill kill, and we get off our blessing. I'm gonna put this in because it might take a little while to. So I'm gonna put it in the fast mode, and then I run away and I die. So just so if you didn't catch last time, what I did in my absolute genius was while I was air searching, I wanted to keep that bag of air safe and I wanted to keep my air random safe. And so I sent my guy to retreat just in case, somebody decided to break nap or do something sneaky. And, I talked to a couple people and was really excited about my air random. And they're like, make sure you set it to retreat so he doesn't die. And then I set him to retreat and he died because he was set to retreat. So guys, there was a scripting error, and that's what's funny is about Dominions is that you can have a scripting error and it can change the entire way that a game goes. Now this one, retreat retails. I had no place to go. He had a couple water provinces he could escape to, but he didn't. And looking back, looking at where I was going, I should have put a ring of water breathing on him anyways. There's no way he could have retreated. There was no place else for him to go except through enemy territory. And don't get me wrong, I think that is a legit idea, but it kind of makes me more predictable. I should have put a water breathing ring on him, and then I could have retreated in addition. So, just mistakes all around. And this was my only air random I got. 25% my foot. I air randoms hate me. And this just goes to prove it. I don't know why it says that this Melkart killed somebody. He didn't kill. Oh no, he did kill somebody. That's right. I think I came with an entourage here, didn't I? Yeah, I had my little wolf here. So he did kill my wolf. Insult to injury. I mean, losing the Dione, mad, but the wolf. I mean, I don't get those. Okay. We have two more cloud trapezes. Cloud trap high. Cloud trap high. And this time we've caught two of these guys. Or did they catch us? So once again, we have our cool setup. This is a great sword of sharpness. Now the reason that we've got this going on is this armor piercing. He only gets half of his armor. If you're ever fighting against somebody that just is stacking armor, this sucker will just plow right through it. If you see, we do 51 points of damage. Now, granted, 29 of that comes from strength, but I mean, even without the 29, if you bring it down to a standard of like, I don't know, 15, it's still a lot of damage. I mean, 35 damage, and I don't know anybody's going to stack 70 armor. Because it cuts your armor straight in half. That's not even counting the, I think the slashing effect does extra damage on Like, so once you actually go in through the armor, it does extra damage, like 25% more damage, something like that. I don't know exactly. Against us, again, more stuff that's built to repel. The thing is, these guys are size 5, whereas this dude is size 5 as well. The chance of repelling, and the great sword of sharpness is length 3, so the chance of him getting repelled is just absolutely zero. Or not zero, but it's much less. Now the body ethereal and the astral shield, or no, the astral shield's not going to matter, but the body ethereal is probably going to matter. We have cast mirror image. What this does is it gives him 2 additional images. So at this point, there are 3 of this dude going around, and what it does is when you attack, it gives it a 1 in 3 chance of actually hitting. Now, if you do stuff like the repel or actually just a repel build, it kind of builds on this, because not only do you have, like, the only way to actually pop the mirror image is to deal damage. So repel builds plus mirror image are very, very, very effective. So let's see what happens. This guy's, he's probably not gonna hit. It's just not gonna happen. Um, so yep, they still have not popped the mirror image. Yeah, and it just right, just like that. Both of those guys fully geared died. It does kind of stink, I guess. Oh, we do have 2, or no, we have feet slots and an accessory slot. So he might have picked up some gear out of that. I don't know. But what we could have done is like snuck a scout in there, and when he did attack, actually set the scout to attack, and then maybe picked up some of that gear. But then you're risking a scout, and that's 25 gold. I don't know if that's worth it. Okay, so we have I don't okay so we have finally jumped onto this dude. I am tired of him going around and just owning my face. So we're gonna kill him once and for all. We have a full set of awesome gear, but we're missing boots of quickness. This was a cloud trapeze. This dude has a chest wound, which kind of hurts his encumbrance, and we're gonna see just how much. Okay, so we have had our script interrupted. Who is this guy? Torv something or another. I'm not seeing anything yet that's saying we're getting interrupted. So we might be good to go. Okay, so the demons weren't a big deal. We're good at this point. And he's casting just summon skeletons, which is utterly ridiculous. Okay, so let's get through this. Okay, dude. Okay, now he's gonna. So now he got off his mirror image. Now the thing is that I didn't see a whole lot of scripting there, and he got his mirror image popped immediately. Probably through the 3 attacks. His attack skill is 22, so on average, half of those will hit. And he's going to be dealing enough damage, and his size is big enough that we're not going to be able to repel. So at this point, we're just going to be taking damage. Our protection's 28. His damage is mostly over 28. So he is going to be dealing damage to us, but we're going to be, just knocking the crud out of him. That's 33 protection compared to our 39. So we're about even. However, we've got a lot of rejuvenation here, or we got a lot of what's it called? Not rejuvenation. Oh boy. Regen. The thing is that he has a second guy next to him that does 41 damage. Now, this Holy Scourge is purposely designed to kill me, and it will kill me a lot. However, it also does enough damage that it's going to start dealing pretty... Oh my goodness, okay. So, we had talked about this chest wound and the encumbrance. What ended up happening is that he's only got 7 in reinvigoration. He's got 9... Oh my goodness, this is just downright terrible. 9 melee encumbrance. So his melee, or his encumbrance is going up every time he swings his sword. The problem with fatigue is that you're going to get more likely to get critically hit. And when you get critically hit, you're going to take huge huge attacks, and that's going to cause even more. Shoot, sorry guys, I'm a little rusty at this, so my brain's going numb. You're going to take more injuries, um, more affliction. Sorry. Not only are you going to take more affliction, you're just going to take more damage. And if you see, our regeneration is not able to keep up with the damage that we're taking, and just like that, we get popped. Uh the problem wasn't our build. The problem was the chest wound. If we didn't have the chest wound, we wouldn't have taken as much fatigue. If we wouldn't have taken so much fatigue, we could have actually been in the fight. And he's down to 22 hit points, guys. I mean, we could have killed him right there. This was a good chance, and we lost it. I don't I don't know if the chest wound, if we should have waited around, but it was a chance. We had a chance to take this guy out, and we took it. Now, as cool as it was, and as nice as it was to have a chance to take this guy off the board, because I have no solution to this guy. I have nothing. I he could march on my capital, and if we retreated him, he'd be in trouble because I'd be taking the provinces behind him the whole time. But I don't really know how I could actually deal with him other than, maybe hoping for a lucky retreat. But yeah, so the downside of this is if you look, these guys are 10 each. So that's 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50 gems that we just lost. So I don't know. I don't know if it was worth it. I don't really feel that it was worth it, but I don't know. You never know. So as promised, the guy with the ring, after we failed to kill him, came in here, and he is geared to fight against PD, so that's gonna be a massacre. Um, so Migdalen's coming in, and he just clearing out some territory that we took from him earlier. He didn't go on the ball with it, so I don't really know why he's coming in force other than maybe to scare us, but we're not afraid of this. Like, this is kind of pathetic, I guess. Like, for us, like, don't get me wrong, he goes against somebody else and this is gonna be pretty nasty. But us, like, his bless isn't scary to us. So I don't know why he's going in force. He could probably have taken this thing back with 10, but he probably was, I don't know, maybe worried that my partner was going to PD dump on him. I don't know. The two guys know each other, so I'll leave it at that and just say, like, maybe this was a good move. Because I don't know, my partner may have PD dumped on him, just to screw with him. Um, so we're coming in and doing some raiding. We're doing some raiding. We're doing some raiding. We're doing some raiding. Lanka comes in and tries to take this province back. And okay, so I guess my buddy might be. I get this. I mean, it's only light infantry. It's not a lot of PD. Although this is trash. Lanka gets this as free spawn, and it is really nice. For siege strength. I mean, 1.4 is better than an average human. So you can stack this, and you can just, you can plow through castles. This guy ain't gonna add anything other than he's going to he's reanimating these guys. So, like, he's not gonna add anything to this. And these are just, like, monkeys are bad enough, but dead monkeys, the only advantage that they have over live monkeys is that they have 50 morale, so they don't run. They die to a monkey. Hopefully this guy runs. It's not looking good. Okay, good. He ran away, and he did in the real game too. I think we are post patch at this point. Now, interesting thing. The patch ended up killing a bunch of Migdalen's. Like, he was summoning a bunch of guys, and then the patch came in, and I think that either he didn't update or it didn't update or something went really wrong, and he lost all of his blood slaves and got none of those summons. And looking back, we probably should have just I don't know, just redid the turn. I've done another game of these. Like, I've admitted another game since, and I think what we could have done is just had him. I could have said, hey guys, don't do your turn. I could have rolled back the turn, had him pull in his turn, and then redid it again. Although I gotta say, like losing that air guy again for a second time would have just probably, I don't know, I probably wouldn't have been able to handle it. So, I don't know. I felt really bad. So the guy who played Michelin, I'm really sorry that you lost all those. And looking back, I could have fixed it, and I like that's what sucks the most. So if you ever do have it where especially with bugs and like bugs and like updates are always going to screw with something. Uh, you can roll back. You have to trust the guys that you play with, and like at this point in the game, I would have trusted any of these guys. Like at this point, I've played 2 games with just about everybody in this game at this point. And everybody was really cool. I was the only one that broke nap the entire game. Everybody seemed really cool. So yeah, just looking back at like it's over now. These videos have taken so long. The game's long over at this point. I actually need to download more of the episodes, or more of the save files. But we are finished with the game, and I've started a new one with. In fact, Pan's in the new one. I think that Pan's in the new one. I'm trying to think. I thought a couple of the other players were in the new ones. Um, but yeah, just yeah, we could have rolled back. That's long and short. Okay, so more rating, and he comes in with his Melkart, and he gets to meet my army. So, sorry that I'm plowing through this, guys. I'm not gonna be. I hate to spoil it. So if you don't want a spoiler, wait until you see the screen and trying to look away or something like that. But there's just going to be a lot of raiding from here on out, and there's going to be a lot of back and forth, and not a lot of armies meeting armies. We're going to be playing on the strategic map. That's not to say there's not going to be army versus army action. There will be some hot army on army action. It's just not this turn. And there's when it happens, it will be a big turn, and we will know it's coming. And this turn was the turn of my air random. Okay, so to some extent, this is a larger army. I'm moving this up to the front, and I'm keeping him honest. I'm trying to make sure that I can take the territory back that he takes, because I'll be honest, he only has one disciple. I get this in a turn easily. This I get more than this in a turn. And so I'm yes, my troop count is taking a hit, but I'm also keeping him off of income. I'm also like cutting off a retreat path. There's a whole bunch of different things that I'm doing by making sure that I kind of I don't play. I play more aggressively. I think we have them on their back foot, so denying them everything is just, and there's nothing here that's irreplaceable. Like these guys, the Aonis kind of suck to lose. But these Koonis, I don't care about them at all. Losing a Naminari might be bad, but I mean, who cares? I don't think he's gonna get to him. I mean, he might. So if we do see, I think he brought in these 3 guys. I think they were not in the previous battle. We could go check, but I don't think it's that important. But he's got his fluffers again. Now, what you're gonna see is, like, he's gonna just wreck my guys, because this thing does 2 attacks and it just demolishes. It does 44 damage to, actually does, like 100 damage to my Onis. And my guys can't take 100 damage. And then, intelligently speaking, these guys said, "Screw this, Chaz, I'm out of here," and ran. Good job, guys. I can keep them honest, keep my losses to a minimum. This is all good. My Nominari is also running, which is great news. All in all, I'm not going to lose a whole lot. I lost my Demon Priest, which kind of sucks. My Nominari can only lead 10 of these. I think it's only 10. Oh no. Oh no, it's undead leadership. So she can. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to carry all of these guys again. Oh no, I got 30 leadership. I've got 30 Koonis. I did that on purpose, guys. It was planned. I planned on purposely losing 10 Aonis, and I'm not gonna be able to take all of these Bakemonos and bandits though. So sadly, it wasn't perfectly planned. I could have scripted better to lose more troops, and that would have been better off. But yeah, this wasn't a big deal. We didn't care that much. Again, more rating, and Femoria finally came out. Okay, so we have wanted this for a while now because we don't know what Fomoria has. We don't know what cards he has. It's kind of like if you're playing Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. I don't know. I've never played Pokemon card game, but my son really likes them. I've seen the cards, but like I'm sure it's the same way. If you know what's in what your opponent has in his deck, he's a little bit easier to counter. And just from the fact that I can go into my arena match, I can put his army, I can put my army, and I can mash them together and see who's gonna win. And so at this point, I know what he has. I know that these guys have got a crap ton of air gems. I know they're air 3. That's kind of leaning towards like Thunderstrike ish type stuff. And that gives me, I'm starting to get like yesterday I got crushed by Thunderstrikes by the AI. I don't know how that happens. I didn't think the AI knew how to use magic, but my mistake. They did. So getting a little chilled here. I got crushed by the AI. That does something to a man. You can never come back from that. So yeah, we've got a whole bunch of air twos, which just is screaming thunderbolts or thunderstrikes, or I don't do air, guys, because air hates me and I hate air, and like this is kind of scary to me just because air hates me, but at least I can see what I can do to try to mitigate or to counter or to do something against this. In my corner, I have a whole bunch of targets and Widowmakers. I guess they're just gonna be really bad, guys. Um, we who are about, or you who are about to die, you who are about to die, we salute you. Oh darn. So this isn't the scripts that they're gonna cast. It's nothing close to it. I mean, well, no. Oh, I take it back. They're gonna do Thunderstrike. What we're looking for is Storm. These are your Stormcasters. They're going to, I think Storm is Air 4, so these guys are gonna use an Air Gem to boost themselves up to Air 4. Can they? Maybe Storm is only Air 3 because you can't use. Yeah, you can't do that. I don't know. Maybe through Storm Power. I don't know. But we're expecting them to be able to cast Storm, and then all these guys to start just using that Thunder Shock, and you're just gonna see like. Yeah, that's gonna be them versus my army. You're gonna see tons of Thunder Shocks. The thing is that Air 2 guys, let me see if I can get one of these guys. Thunder Shocks. I didn't think that, yeah, their fatigue is not that bad. So maybe I'm wrong. I thought Thunderstrike was 100, I thought it was 100, what is it, the fatigue. Oh, I bet it's one of these guys. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so yeah, their fatigue. Okay, so it's got to be about 50 or 40, because they're Air 3 and Thunderstrike I think is Air 2. So we do know what they're gonna do at this point, so good to go. We didn't kill anybody, not a surprise. They're raiding us, we're raiding them. Oh, that wasn't good. Oh, this one, Dunes of Death. Oh yeah, properly named. I know this. I think we came in here last turn and got crushed. Barbarians just eat our face. I mean, we even got anti-large numbers of troops, guys. The thing is that if you look, this guy's got 14 protection, and the other guy that we saw that was like the crowd trap users, they all had like 30 protection. And the question is, how did we go from 30 flipping protection to 14? Well, I think that I'm gonna hold this off. I'm gonna show you guys how it was done later. I do want to okay, so we got a bunch of gold, yay rah. We're not able to breach, not a surprise. We're gonna go over these things later. So I do want to go over why did the Dunes of Death lead us to death. This right here. We have Heat 3 going on here. And if you watch the battle where we actually do win, and I push B for view battle, this guy has got 34 protection and is wearing he's wearing Armor of Knights rather than the copper plate, so his armor is much better. But his natural protection is modified by this cold power. And I don't understand too much how this works. Ice protection 3. So he's getting 3 protection just from it being cold 3. In fact, I think it might even be 9 protection. Yeah, he is, because if you look, the armor of knight's 23. The bracers are giving him another 2, so that's 25. And he's got an armor value of 34. He's literally getting 9 protection from the cold weather. So by doing this, we have lost. Oh no, not that one. We have lost 9 protection, and instead of that guy being like, this guy would be up to 23 protection. 23 protection compared to 14 protection is kind of really big. 23 protection would have made him take about 1 point of damage from each of these guys, and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. And I think that's what you kind of get from protection. One thing you got to realize about protection, once you get high enough, it doesn't really matter to have additional protection. Going from 40 to 41 protection is not a big deal. Going from 1 to 2 protection is not a big deal. That middle range is kind of where it's a big deal. Going from 20 to 21 protection could end up saving your life. Going from 20 to 25 protection could save your life. Going from 0 to 5 protection, unless we're talking about chaff versus chaff, we're talking about thugs and super combatants, like 0 to 5 isn't going to save your life. 5 to 10 is not going to save your life. You know, going from 20 to 25 or 25 to 30, 30 to 35, that's kind of your sweet spot where every single point of protection really matters. Unless you're going, super combatants versus super combatants. But against stuff like barbarians, just random crits, stuff like that, you're trying to play for every protection that you possibly can. And 14 protection is not going to cut it. This guy's going to just die immediately. And barbarians are really, really bad. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to deal with that barbarian horde. We're going to teach him that he can't kill people like us. That we're gonna get our revenge for him. Now the nice thing is that we still have some retreat options. Oh, I keep on. He's got a monolith pretender, and I keep on thinking this is it, and then I'm like, oh my goodness, he's got 5 monoliths. Okay, so the important thing about this turn is that we're gonna continue raiding. We're gonna push. And if you look, this is Fomoria. Now I talked to my partner and I said, hey, I can hit every single one of his cap circle, and I want to do it because this will cut down his. I mean, he may not even have enough production to make his big mages. And my partner was like, no, that's too risky. And I'm like, I'm doing it anyways. And then he came back and he's like, oh my goodness, I see what you're saying. And we agree that this was the way we're going to do it. With just, it's too, just from a more morale standpoint, controlling the majority of his cap circle is just more like, is gonna hit his morale. And we might be able to cut off some provinces. I don't know what probably not going to cut off provinces, but it is going to give us one less castle that can feed in income. And that's in this raiding war. It's probably not going to hit too hard, but that's one thing that you want to do. Like this province needs to. Let me give another example. Actually, this one, yeah, okay. So right now, if you look, the income is at red. That's because we're not getting any income from these, and that's because these two cannot trace line of supply to a castle. Now, one thing I really do wish that they would do is do line of supply for armies as well, because that would be kind of cool. Most war games that you play with, at least board games, are going to have a line of supply rule that you need to trace back to where your army's getting supplies. That's why 300 kind of is a joke. It's more of a war story than an actual historical story. Outside of their epic muscles and stuff like that, they also the supplies, you weren't going to get that like you weren't going to be able to supply 300 men on their own. Like they're not going to be able to do it. You'd have like food carts, you'd have like cooks, you'd have like servants, you'd have all these different people supporting, and that's kind of what this game doesn't like. It says you supply yourself through the local province, and you don't do that. You're unless you're gonna do like pillaging style, like kind of like Sherman's March to the Sea. A lot of the 30 Years War, if you read about that, they did a lot of like burn it to the grounds type of stuff. I think the Russians did it on their the Napoleonics when Napoleon was marching on Moscow. The Russians burned as they went to deny all resources. But normally it's pretty like normally you get your supplies from the rear and then it's supplemented by the area around you. So let's see. I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry, and I'm going really long. So let's let's go over the turn real quick. Summoning a bunch of Shikomi, uh, getting a bunch of my gear for my Dione, making a Thistle Mace and then an Astral Serpent. Now, the reason that we're doing an Astral Serpent is that we found that we can. Oh, what was it? The Astral Serpent is another attack. So, and not only is the Astral Serpent another attack, it's the second attack and it deals poison damage, a lot of poison damage. So we can stack poison damage by doing the. I come here. I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I've not been playing a lot recently. Just been getting busy. It's one of another reason why I haven't been streaming recently. Um, Astral Serpent does 35 points of damage, and that's armor negating. You don't even get any armor for it. So 35 points of hit point damage. If we can somehow, and it's piercing damage, now it doesn't add your strength. So it's going to have to be either a low armor target, or we're just going to have to get really lucky. And that can happen. But if it does get through, I mean, that's like, and if it gets through twice, you're looking at 70 points of damage. I don't know much that can take 70 points of damage. So I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work. It's one of those things that I'm testing it on the spot. But we're making 2 Astral Serpents. I think they're really expensive to make too. And I think my partner actually tested them out and said they worked really well. If you can see, like most of the stuff is Sword of Swiftness, Boots of Quickness, Armor of Knights, the bracers, the gore helmet, and that's it. I'm making occasionally making like great swords of sharpness. For my buddy, his he's more likely to need these. I don't understand the math too well, but these great swords seem to work better on his on what he's fighting. Sorry. Also making a couple lightless lanterns wherever I can, just to keep my guys going. I probably should be making some more, but I guess maybe I bet I am making every single guy that can make a lightless lantern is probably making one. Yep, everybody that can make a lightless lantern is making a lightless lantern or is moving. So pretty much at this point, everybody that's researching are my Nakomis or not Nakamari's. Not Naminaris. And every single one of them has got like 2 pieces of gear. And it's like you get 14 plus that's 26. So it's 9 from the chassis and 26 from the gear. And that's kind of just how I'm going to be rolling for research at this point. And it's gonna make my research kind of crap. And a lot of my gear is going towards my partner. But if we win this war, guys, we win the game. So why not throw everything I can at it? And we're also pushing. It's not like it's a stalemate and I should be, holding back and researching. I'm pushing. We're winning. We might get 2 caps out of this in addition. I'll research later. And it's not like I'm not researching. And I'm also getting some more research chassis, if I can show them. Oh yeah, that's right. I stupidly brought my unrest way too high here. That was my bad. But like I guess I'm getting, here. So like it's been a while since I played this game, guys. The Nominari are being recruited here. They're being recruited here. Okay, so my movements. I'm doing a blind attack into Hinam. Nikki doesn't have a really good set of gear. I mean, I do like the Armor of Knights, don't get me wrong. The Frostbrand might be bad to lose. But sorry. Yeah, go figure. I can't. 30 minutes. Okay. Sorry. My kids are home again. And then Boots of the Messenger are kind of nice, but I mean, most of the stuff they can. Okay, the regen ring. Okay, so we don't really need this regen ring. I made it. It was stupid. I made it to make to catch the or to take a throne. and went back later, realized how silly it was. We've already got enough regen, so this is not a big loss. All in all, of this gear, the Horror Helmet, which is 10, and the Armor of Knights, which is Construction 6, is a risk, because I might give that over to the enemy. It's worth this for a raid, and if I take Hinam's cap, it'll be a huge morale hit. I will have taken just about the entire cap circle and their capital. I mean, that's bad enough that if the players are tiltable, they might just go AI at that point just because they're angry, or they might ask for subs. I don't know, which would really kind of stink as the admin. But, it's one of those things that we might win the war just right here. Now, if we look over here, it's probably not going to happen. But we're trying to tilt them. If you're playing a game, you're playing against a player. You're not playing against an AI. You're not playing against somebody. You're playing against somebody that you're hoping to be able to throw them off their game. And that's what I'm doing right here. I'm going in and I'm, attacking here and here and here, going and attacking his capital. And I'm just hoping that, and not only that, but if I go here, he'll have to send something to respond. He'll have to come back and actually try to take it back. And just from a strategic standpoint, that's really big. That's why I like things like the Doolittle raid where, they went and they firebombed, I think it was Osaka, or no, it wasn't Osaka. I'm trying to remember where they firebombed, maybe Tokyo. But like they were, a lot of the bombings that took place in World War II weren't trying to kill people. They were trying to convince the other side to stop fighting. And that's kind of what, I mean, we're never going to get to that point. But, this is probably a to the death type of fight because our caps are too close for us to be like, you can have this territory and not that territory. But, we're trying to get them so that they play poorly, so that they do badly, without being jerks about it. I mean, I know guys that'll post screenshots of how awesome they did, and for example, where this one right here, the air. This guy didn't go on to chat and be like, see how stupid, Fomoria's player is. You can tilt a guy without being a dick. And so, but we still do want to kind of tilt him a little. And hopefully this will work. I mean, we could lose 1, 2, 3, 4 Dionis this turn, and I don't know how I'm going to come back from 4 Dionis. So it's a risk. Okay, let's talk about this one right here. We are thinking he's coming for Mountains of Mist. He could raid, but this is not a raiding force. This is a force that's trying to knock us out of the game. This is the force that could go to Mountains of Mist and take it. Sorry, I just saw something, guys. I don't know if you can see on the left-hand side. I'm getting good use out of my robe over here to get some more Shikomis. And he's gonna come here, probably take this, and that way he can have a safe fallback area. And then from there he can just come down and stop my Dione production. I assume my opponent to be smart, and maybe this is a mistake. And not in this case. In this case, this guy's actually really intelligent. And so I would say, what would I do in this situation? Well, he's got his pretender here. He's got his army here, and I don't know what I can do about that pretender, and I don't know what I can do about this army. This army is very, very scary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to stall. Sorry, guys. I'm going to try to dump as many troops in here and try to make it where he cannot get into my fort. In the fort right now, I have a whole bunch of little dudes. I've got more little dudes coming in. These are the epic 30 that I perfectly planned, except for these two guys. We're moving in more Shikomi that have been coming in from Salam, and then we're also summoning even more Shikomi. So at this point, we have Shikomi on top of Shikomi on top of Shikomi. I don't think that this guy's going to be able to get in. Let me see what the siege defense is. I'm kind of worried that this was it's going to look bad. I mean, siege defense of 0.7 is not terrible. Now, I'm not going to be able to hold out against this. It's a crappy fort. I think it's only 100. Yeah, it's 100 wall integrity. And these giants have the ability to siege down like crazy. So it's more of a stalling tactic at this point. While my Dione go to work on his income. And maybe if I'm lucky, he's going to have to pull this army back. And if you think about it, guys, like, okay. He goes here, here, and he spent 2 turns coming down to attack me. I'm hitting his rear. He's like, oh no, I have to get back. 3, 4, 5, and he's starting to take back territory. So it's taking him 5 turns, and what has he gotten out of it? He's gotten 1 territory, which I'll promptly take back. This territory, it's a woods territory, probably worth 20 to 30 gold. Maybe 60 to 100 if it's, I don't remember, but it's not a whole lot of money. Meanwhile, I'm raiding his cap circle. And this is his army. This is his main army in this theater of war. And I have wasted 5 turns of, I mean, at that point it'll be turn 40. So I've wasted 10% of his army's turns for the entire game, and he's gotten nothing out of it. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hyena him down. I'm trying to win against the lion as a hyena. Now, don't get me wrong. I think I can eventually take this army if I get enough troops together. My troop count is incredibly high, and I think this is kind of one of those biases things. It's more you're in, and I think I kind of underestimated how strong my army was. But my army size is pretty flippin' like pretty strong. In considering that most of my little gobos have died, and at this point my army is mostly Shikomi. I don't say most of it, but a lot of the strength is in the Shikomi, rather, which is a pretty high quality unit, like middle area. They're they're sorry, they're sacred. They're sacred. They've got 2 attacks. This is pretty much like if an EA Ulm Sacred. It reminds me of the EA Ulm Sacreds, only possibly with less protection. Um, and like, but they're also a better chassis. They got Berserk. They've got a little bit of fire resist, cold resist. Like they've got some resist. So in a way, they're kind of like an EA Ulm Sacred, which is kind of nice. Oh, good job, Sean. Get that. Or sorry, Dartimos. Get that. Get that. Put that demon inside your army and lower their morale. Okay, so we're gonna move these guys down and try to stop this raiding from happening. Like just counter raid, I guess. And I get it's 10 income, and I'm risking my army. But I'll be honest, guys, I kind of think this might be able to take out all of what he's got. It is a pretty sizable force, and I don't think he knows either. Now, the downside is they are demons, so Holy Scourges do work. Okay, so long story short, all that talking just to say, we're prepping for him to come here. I've got no Diones in here, which is kind of scary. But we're not. Our Diones are trying to take land. They're not trying to defend. We're defending with troops, and we're attacking with Dione. Now going here is Rock Whisper or Paper Whisperer. I'm going to bring in a Fluffer. This is probably one of the few Fluffers I ever use. I don't like using Fluffers, guys. I don't trust them. I know it's wrong, and you can see like that's what this guy's using. He's using 3 Fluffers. But you know, Blessing. He should hit Blessing with one of these 4 times. And I probably should retreat with this dude at this point, but I guess we can stay behind troops. This is a fully kitted dude. This guy will destroy if Rock Whisper decides to come up to Shade Forest and play with me. I will be ready to play in response. Now, if you guys remember, Torn Conquered, Tianchi, sorry. We've said that they can take this territory, and I think they went back to Hinam and said, hey, you guys take this territory. So this is kind of a predictable move at this point if he's going to raid. He could go here and here, which would be a safer move, but I mean, I'm already losing my income from here. He's gonna get, but not at the expense of me. And that's kind of one of the ways that you can look at this. Let's see. Okay, so take this 24 income right here. This is not giving me 24 income when it comes to the war. In relation to the war, like, don't get me wrong, this is giving me 32 income, but this is giving me 48. How is it getting you 48, Dartimos, you might say? You gotta remember that it's not just giving me 24, it's denying 24 to him. So, even though this province, and we'll pretend that this was a 30 income province, even though he's gaining 30 income because it does trace back to Abyssia, it wasn't a 30 income province to me. It was a 80 income province. So he, just by moving here, I've lost 80 income and he's gained 30. So it's kind of like 110 income. And when you start thinking like that, you start understanding how rating works more efficiently. Should I take this 50 income province or this 100 income province? Well, if I take this 50 income province, it knocks out, you know, 3 provinces. Oh, well, it might be better. And the math kind of works a little bit differently when you look at it in that direction. Other than that, that's pretty much the turn, I think. Oh, and not only that, but we also called this guy Paper Whisperer because, you know, paper does beat rock. Um, so I'm hoping that this fight happens, and I hope that it turns into awesomeness, because that would be awesome. But I guess that's it for me, guys. I do still have some Dionis in the background. We do have some reserves still. We are still building. We're still building some troops. I'm pumping out some sanguine dowsing rods. Sorry, sanguine upsayo is one of my favorite Korean terms. It means I don't care. Um, really important when you're a teacher. Teacher, Billy's doing this. Sanguine upsayo. I don't care, sweetheart. Go back to work. Sorry, guys. And so yeah, we're building, or we're crafting with a whole bunch of my Dione. Where's the other ones? Yeah, so like I've still got like 6 Dione in reserve. And hey, I'm making a temple. I didn't realize I didn't have a temple here. That's awesome. And some of them are, you know, losing arms or lost arms or limping. You know, Jom here is losing an arm, so he's sitting in reserve. But we're trying to build enough gear to pump them out as fast as we can. Okay, guys. Well, that's it for this turn. Mercenaries. Master Gibber is still ours. Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize. Huh. He's got a lot of mercenaries that and they've got to be over against Pan. Pan's still fighting against them, guys. They're still fighting against Pan and Sarmatia. Sarmatia's with these guys, so it's kind of like the coalition. Right now the coalition is us and Pan. I didn't realize this, but Pan and my partner seem to have had a really good relationship. My buddy is actually watching these. Hi. And he told me like him and Pan had actually been talking a whole lot, which I didn't know. And so it pretty much it turned into Pan and us versus the rest of the world. Because the rest of the world kind of teamed up and Pan and us kind of teamed up. And that worked out really good. And these guys are gonna start throwing their hat into the ring against Pan. And I don't know if it happened yet, but it's gonna be happening soon. And the problem that Lanka and Mictlan had was they didn't know who to fight, because they could have gotten in against Pan and they could have gone against us. Or they could have gone against, I guess, if they really wanted to. I mean, like Mictlan could have gotten into this war with us. I mean, I would have been fine with it. I would have let them take this whole territory here. But either way that they go, they kind of decide the winner. At this point, they're kind of a kingmaker. They can choose who wins, but they're not in a position where they can actually do any damage. I mean, don't get me wrong, raiding would stink and it would be a pain in the neck, but I don't think it would have ultimately mattered. Um, so yeah, and there was also like our nap problem kind of. I mean, I don't know. I don't think they trusted us after that. I don't know why. So, but I'm going long on this episode, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the extra long episode. Makes up for my 2 week hiatus of trying to, and even then, like you heard, my kids came home. I can't win, guys. So hopefully I will get another one out after this. I'm gonna go see what's going on. I was promised 2 or 3 hours, and so I'm gonna try to get out another national expansion after this. So you guys have a good one. Peace. Bye.